Do you want to know how amazing people connect? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie.
Thanks for connecting. And if you like what you hear, please share.
Special thank you to our sponsors, Kicking Cancer and Margin Coffee Roasters of Albany, Oregon. For more information on Kicking Cancer and this great organization, go to kicking-cancer.org. And for more information on Margin Coffee Roasters and their amazing coffee, go to margincoffee.com. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Oh, I'm so glad to have you guys here on this Thursday morning. It is an amazing day today. It's been an amazing week, and I'm so glad that you're here to join us. You know, Marketing with Russ is here every Monday and Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and we're here for your listening and viewing pleasure because you know what? We bring you amazing people here, amazing people who connect. And that is what this show is all about. How do amazing people connect? You know, and so often people say, what does connection have to do with marketing? And I just tell them everything. Connection and community building has everything to do with marketing and raising the visibility through live streaming. It's amazing because I get to reach out to you. You get to watch these amazing people I bring on. And I'm just so blessed. I am so blessed and humbled to have so many awesome friends. And today is a big day because my co-host of the Experience Live with Russ and Scott, good, awesome, incredible friend Scott is on with me today. The one who really got me going with my business and all that I'm doing today. You know, God inspired me and Scott pointed the way. So I am so blessed to have him here today. So before we get there, I just want to remind you the best way to connect with me is russhedge.com. That's right. Russhedge.com is got all of my connection points. So whatever platform you're watching on right now, if you're watching on LinkedIn, please connect with me there. If you're watching on Facebook, please connect with me there. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe today because we love to have you subscribe on YouTube. That community is amazing. And what it does, it gives you a library of the great content that I've been able to put out on Marketing with Russ, on Russ Reels Live. And you can go right there and see all of the past amazing guests I've had on. Or you can just get, you also get notices about the upcoming content, which is great. And the best way to get there, marketingwithruss.live, marketingwithruss.live. Open a separate tab right now. Click on that and subscribe if you haven't already to marketingwithruss.live. It'll get you onto my YouTube community. Love to have you part of that. And also remember, please share. Right now, hit that share button. Tell other people, D. Scott Smith is coming on. He's amazing. You don't want to miss it. And if they just happen to not be able to watch it live, guess what? If you share it with them, they can watch it on replay. Same link. It sits on all the platforms we broadcast on, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube forever. And so you can watch that and they can watch at a later date that works for them. So love to have you guys do that. And thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being here today. Don't forget, if you haven't got a copy of my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, please pick up your copy. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any online booksellers, or you can just go to russhedge.com, buy book now, and you can get it there. So go to russhedge.com and you can pick a copy up there. All right. I think that is all we have for today. Just double checking, and I'm just going to get Scott in the room. Here we go. Let's do it. Morning, Scott.
Hey, good morning, Russ. This is exciting. I'm on episode number 297, correct?
Yes, and we are, well, yes. I'm losing track. But 300 is coming up on the 10th, so that sounds
And
right to me.
that's what I wanted to say is 297. That's a cool number. I think it's actually a prime number. If I'm not. So that's good. But 300 is coming up, and I just want to let people know that that is an achievement. If they want to do 300 episodes of something, I mean, it's pretty easy to do. Just do one episode for 300 days every day, and you too can have 300 episodes.
Almost a year's worth of episodes. We're getting close there. Get
Yep.
65 more under
Hey,
my belt, and we'll have one for every day of the year.
I
It
want to
is.
I want to say one more thing, and I just want to I want to take credit for all of your business success. I thank you for letting people know because I have I I have as much impact of turning this business on into what it is as when I pulled a branch out of the side of the Columbia River to let it flow. So I just want to tell you that's the level of impact that I've had because you are what you are because you're
Yeah,
Russ Hedge, Russ Selfie, and that's where we met was because you were out marketing.
there you go.
That's and that's how we got connected.
What is such a blessing, first of all, before I got to let Scott introduce himself here. But number one, I got to make sure I don't think I'm on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. I got to focus on what show am I actually on. Number two, Scott, you're such a blessing because you're a constant blessing to me and a constant positive impact. So I appreciate that so much. For those that don't know, Scott and I graduated from Oregon State University. We walked in the same ceremony back in 1987.
Mhm.
We didn't know each other at that time. We met years later through business, through networking and marketing, and became amazing friends immediately. And
Mhm.
we have just been blessed to know each other for several years, and then jump into this whole new stage of our lives. And we're going to talk about that today, a little bit about live streaming, a little bit about connection and community building through the things that we've done. But before we get to all that, Mr. D. Scott Smith, who are you and what should people know about you?
Well, as you can see from the title, it says Motivational Listener. And I just want to tell a little bit about that, what it means. First of all, Motivational Listener is a good pattern interrupter. You can look up what that means, but it's pretty cool. And it activates certain parts of your brain that are important when it comes to networking. So a pattern interrupt is helpful. But first of all, that title of Motivational Listener was created by my wife. One day somebody asked her and said, Christine, what is it that you do? And she said, she thought about it and said very accurately, she said, I'm a motivational listener. And I told her, I love that. And I'll always give you credit because I'm a good husband, but I'm stealing that title. And that was back in 2016. So your wife came up with Befuddled, and
Right?
my wife came up with motivational listener. So it is important to pay attention to that person in your life.
Oh, yes, it is. It is so much. And I can't, besides the Lord God himself, think of anybody who's impacted my life more than my beautiful wife. She
Hmm.
continues daily to just be such a support and blessing to me. And through life's ups and downs and good and bad, and over the 35 plus years we've had together have been amazing. And she's always there supporting me.
Well,
She's always
35.
going. What?
That's 35. That's a good start.
Yeah, that's a
We
good
will
start.
be in August. Christine and I will be celebrating 39. So,
Wow.
and I told her that's a good start. So next year's our 40th. So we're trying to plan what do we want to really do to celebrate that milestone? Because 40, that's a good. Every number is a good number, by the
I
way.
bet
But
she's got some ideas on that, right? Maybe a trip to
yeah, we got some
Hawaii, maybe a
we
trip
got
to
some stuff
Europe.
cooking. We've got some stuff cooking. So
That's good. That's good.
so motivational listener, I put some structure around this. There's some things that I had been doing for years that goes back into 2010 to 2012. And there was a blog post I wrote that was called "You Are Remarkable." And that concept was based on how we learn and how we retain information. So when we learn, we use the prefrontal cortex, part of our brain. Short-term memory takes a lot of energy, a lot of glucose, the sugar in your blood. In fact, your brain will use more than 30% of the energy that you produce every day, just the brain itself. So when we learn, we use that short-term memory. And then as you uh, continue to process and learn and execute on things, they literally become hardwired into your brain. They move into a part of your brain called the basal ganglia, and it makes things seem almost automatic. So when you learn to drive, you're using your prefrontal cortex, high energy. You can't think about anything else. You're just focusing on that because short-term memory goes away. You need to keep doing that. So as you keep driving, it becomes hardwired into your brain. Now you just walk out to the car. You don't have to think, do I turn the key left or right to start? Where do I reach for you just get in and drive because our brains can process information so fast that the regular tasks of the day use just a portion of the capacity of the brain that we have. And in fact, because the brain processes so fast, essentially we daydream between 30 and 50% of our waking hours.
That's
And
for
so,
sure. That's for sure.
absolutely.
Well,
So although we can have this engaged conversation, and you're still thinking, oh, I've got this, and is it going to snow, and we're going to do this weekend, and you're not being unkind to me. Your brain is just processing information fast.
I'm just thinking that Scott is the deep thinker of our duo, and I don't even think about these things. I think I'm always on autopilot. I drive somewhere and wonder, how did I get there?
Yeah. Well, it's your brain processes so fast, right? So you can drive and you can think about these other things.
Yep.
So in that blog post that I wrote, that saying you are remarkable, what happens is the goal of being a motivational listener is for the person. So in this case, if we're having a conversation, I'm the motivational listener. My goal is for Russ Hedge to leave our conversation feeling better about himself than before we started the conversation. And so you've done, together we've done more than 100 episodes of the experience. You're coming up on 300 episodes of marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. Plus, I don't know how many episodes of Russ Reels
A
you've
lot.
done, but when you add all this stuff up, it's over 500 episodes
Oh
that
yeah.
you've been doing. Now,
Yeah.
because you've been doing it so long, you don't need to think about it. Oh, I go to
Right.
StreamYard and I do this and I upload that and I want to do this and this thing and the video and the scrolling banner across the bottom and all those things. That's hardwired into your brain. And so if I ask you, oh, Russ, what do you use to broadcast all these episodes? I use StreamYard and I do this and I click here and all that stuff. And you just breathe it out as if it's common knowledge, but it is not common. 300 episodes ago, you did not know how to do this. You had to learn about it.
Well,
So in the
we had to
process
learn that.
in the process of being a motivational listener, I take you back to what was it like to do that first episode? What was it, how did you do this? Oh, and then Ever came in and how does she integrate there? And you start I take you on what's called a conversational journey.
Right.
And and
And
and along the way we're going, I'm reminding you of everything that you had to learn, everything that didn't go well, everything that went well. And now you have a comparison of where you are today to where you were,
right.
and you're like, wow, I have come a long way. I've
Well, yeah,
developed a lot, right? And
we have
that's
come a
where
long
you
ways. Yep.
realize.
Yep.
And
I
that's where you
do.
realize,
Yeah. Well,
right?
and
Yeah.
let me just say there's so many things I want to say there. I want to talk about our first episode. I want to talk about this journey and learning and growing, but I want to talk about
Mhm,
the benefits of that too. But first,
mhm,
I just want to take a quick commercial break and say I just want to thank Margin Coffee again, who's been amazing.
mhm,
And also Kicking Cancer. So Margin Coffee's in Albany, Oregon. If you're ever in that area, it's right off the freeway. They've got a new location. You can hit if you're on your way to California from Washington or from Canada to Mexico, all down the I-5 corridor, swing through Albany, Oregon, and go to Margin Coffee. Number two, Kicking Cancer has been amazing in my life. I was part of the
Mhm.
organization helping and supporting them. When I started my cancer journey, they were a huge support to me. Scott, you know all about that. And
Mhm.
so speaking of autopilot, I got to even the screens out here. So anyway, I want to say that Baron Robinson is
Mhm.
amazing, and the work that they do originally started because of his sister's journey with cancer. Prayers for her because she needs prayer right now as well for her cancer. But the thing is, it's just such an amazing group to support and lift up people that need it. So I just want to thank them for that. So I want to jump back to what
Absolutely.
you said though and say that I remember that first episode. I remember being super
Mhm.
nervous because I'm running producing the show. And you and I are talking. I've never done it, but I came to the conclusion after we did it, this is not so bad. I can do that. And because of, I have a positive attitude on life, obviously, but because
Yeah.
of the action of actually trying, I just said, hey, we're just going to do this. And if we make mistakes, oh, well, we're just going to make it better next time. We're just going to keep moving. We got better and better because the first live streaming we did was actually the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. My Marketing with Russ and others converted from a podcast that was pre recorded video
Mhm.
to the live stream format. And you're right, you do learn those kind of things. And that's why I want to encourage people today, don't
Mhm.
make your lack of knowledge or education a
Right.
hindrance to doing things. Get out there and do them because and this is the point I want to drive home. This is how you raise visibility for your personal brand, for your business, for you. This is how you connect with people and gain community because our community has grown by leaps and bounds because of the live streaming that we've done. And what an awesome connection and community building tool, right, Scott?
Oh, absolutely. And, that very first episode we did of the experience, I woke up to no power in the house. So, no computer, no internet. I lived in a little valley that had really poor cell phone coverage. So, I had to get up, get dressed, get in my car, drive to a place that had, a decent enough cell phone signal so that I could connect. I used a couple of rubber bands to hold my phone onto my rearview mirror. I was parked, so I was safe, but I put the phone on the rearview mirror, and my dome light was my lighting system because it was 7 a.m. in January, and 7 a.m. in January in Oregon is dark.
Yes, it was very dark. And what was amazing though is you calmly just drove to a spot to be able to do it. And that's the thing with life. Life happens and then you choose. Life happened to you that morning. And what did you say? Hey, I'm going to hop in my car. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to get to a
Yep,
spot where I have connection
that's right.
and do that. And, that is a good life lesson for everybody. Everybody paying attention and listening today and being motivational as they listen, like Scott. If you want to be better after this conversation, put
Mhm.
into action the things you hear. Take the life lessons that happen to you. When
Yep.
life happens, choose to make something good out of it because I'm a firm believer that God works all things for the good, and so can you. You can take the worst situation and you can make something good out of that. Just like,
So, yeah, I wanna give people something practical they can do, because humans are really cool because we solve problems. Sometimes
yep,
we make our own problems that we have to solve, but we're really cool because we solve problems. We come up with ways to overcome obstacles and barriers. So let me tell you a little bit of research and tell you how it applies practically because uh, it's the creativity that allows you to solve those problems, to find different ways to do things like driving and using your dome light to broadcast episode one of the experience. So every child, and you look at this. So when you get to be around little children, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, every one of them is a dancer, singer, poet, artist. right? They're in the store walking down the aisle, singing some song that they heard on TV, radio, somewhere, right? Watched it probably on a streaming video, right? And they don't care. They don't care that they sound bad, that they're loud, that they're getting the tune wrong, right? They're just expressing themselves. So they took this is the research. They took jazz musicians, and jazz music is what it is because of the improvisation, because of the creativity. And so they'll do these variations on a theme. So they took jazz pianists and they looked at their brain in an MRI while they were playing, and they gave them music to play, and they played it just note by note, just mechanically play it, da 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 da, right? They played it, and they looked at their brain. Then they had them do improv off of that theme. And then they were looking at their brain to go, okay, where's the creativity center, right? What fires when they're being creative? And the interesting thing wasn't what lit up in their brain, it was the part that went dark, the part that was suppressed while they were being creative. And the part of the brain that cares what other people think went dark. So if you want to be creative, if you want to do live streaming, just do it and don't worry about somebody else. Don't try to compare yourself to a Brian Schulman who's been doing thousands and thousands of hours of live streaming and think, oh, I won't be that good. Well, it's probably true. You won't be that good until you've done thousands and thousands of hours. And when he started, he wasn't that good as he is today, right? But he did it. And we know that Brian, and I mentioned him because he was the first guest he was on episode 1
He was.
of the
Okay.
experience, and he's transparent. And if he makes a mistake, he's not gonna go, oh, I need to edit that out.
Right.
So if you want to do this, then turn your camera on, go live, and realize you're not going to do what you want to do the first time around. In fact, we
Yeah.
say that an entrepreneur, uh, uh, you if you are embarrassed, or if you're not embarrassed by your first release, you waited too long.
I just didn't watch it. That's how I wasn't embarrassed by it. That you were so right there, Scott. You just got to move forward, and that is how you make things
Hmm.
happen. And I have been backstage with Brian several times at the beginning of his shows where he is
Hmm.
racing around and things are not going well, and there's things happening.
Yeah.
He has learned over time, refined, and now he's grown and grown. And Stacy Rasky, who is also on that first
Hmm.
episode, she has grown by leaps and bounds with her business too. But you know what
Unbelievable. Yeah.
yeah, but what I love about both of them too, they take care of themselves. So they've
Hmm.
learned to have self-care time to actually
Hmm.
get away. I am taking a page out of that book today and getting away with my beautiful wife for the weekend to the coast. After I have a little trip to OHSU today for my
Hmm.
MRI, I wonder what they'll see on my brain. I hope they find it. That's the big thing. But
They're very
I
powerful machines. So.
Oh yes, they are. They are. But I'm just so blessed by the outcomes and the results of what we've done through live streaming and our
Hmm.
community. The book by Atomic Habits by James Clear, an
Hmm.
amazing book. If you have not read that book, everybody get a copy, right? If you can't get a copy, go on YouTube and listen to the audio version. um, James Clear's book talks about the activity and the habits you create today, how that affects your tomorrows. And I've
Hmm.
said this for years. If you want results in your business down the road, 6 months, 12 months down the road, you start doing things today. What you do today affects you down the road. The actions you take today affect your tomorrows and the
Hmm.
tomorrows after that, on and on and on. And the way you do that is doing things like live streaming, doing things like community building. Everybody does it differently. You may not
Hmm.
be like me. You may not connect with 1,000 people in 1 year, right? You may think, whoa, that is way too much, Russ. You get up at 4 a.m. and now you're connected with 1,000 people. Blowing my mind. Kind of like what Scott does to me with all of his information that he encourages me with. I'm like, you're blowing my mind. You got to give me time to process this. But you can connect with maybe one person or
Hmm.
two people a week. get some new people in your community. Find people that you click with, people that are the kind of people that you want to build community with. And a good way to do that is to look at live streaming or video or things like that online,
Right.
because there's amazing tools at your fingertips just waiting for you to use them. Right, Scott?
Absolutely. And there's people to help, like Russ and myself and Shri, that we do the backstage on Instagram at 6:30 Pacific time every Wednesday before we do the experience.
That's
She's a
right.
great resource. And, people like Shri provide free content. They provide paid courses to actually walk you through the process. Think, if you're going to do it, invest in it.
Yep.
This is one of those crazy things to me, is that people will spend $100,000 to get a 4-year college degree, but they're not willing to spend 4 or $500 for a course with like Shri,
Right.
um, to actually implement. Think about the scale of that for a moment.
Right.
Uh, these are some things you need to make some investments in yourself as well, not just the
Yes.
self-care, but you need to hire a coach, be in a paid mastermind group, uh,
Right.
uh, get involved in a program, right?
Yep.
Just
Yep.
like I know that one of the workshops that you do is turning cold calling into friends, and it's all about sales and how that works. People
Coming
need
up
to
in
invest
April.
in that.
Coming up in
That
April.
yeah, invest in that. And the cost is insignificant. And
Yeah.
again, people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on education, but spend dozens or hundreds of dollars and invest in yourself.
So, shameless plug, that link will show up magically in the comments today
You
as
got
Scott and
that
I are
right.
talking about how to click and go to that workshop, because it is such a great value. You will love it. It's
Mhm,
only an hour of your time. But, Scott is exactly right. You've got to invest in yourself. And
mhm,
part of that, too, is looking at all that you're doing, investing for your own education, but also invest in how you scale your business. You brought this up a few minutes ago, Scott, and the best investment I ever made in my business was Ever, who's my
mhm,
amazing teammate who works behind the scenes, who's busy right now doing things for this show. And
mhm.
she will do so much for me that it's allowed me to do what I do best. So she takes care of the things that I can do, but I probably shouldn't do. And she's so much better at it anyway. But it's
Absolutely.
it's because of encouragement, like people
Mhm.
like Mr. D. Scott Smith. And so because he encouraged me on doing that, and I did, I really want to encourage all of you to reach out to Scott. All of his connection information is in the show notes. It'll be in the comments, or it is in the comments, and it's ticking along the bottom of the screen. And don't forget to visit Scott and I on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time every Wednesday, and the experience backstage a half hour before that on Instagram Live only. Those are
Mhm.
so much fun every week. We have amazing guests. And I just want to say that it has been such an honor and a blessing, Scott, to be able to do this with you and to be able to learn and grow with you. So we have just a couple minutes left. Give everybody your gold nugget of the day, and then how do they get in touch with you? Go ahead.
Absolutely, yeah, and I love that, we get to do this live, we get to connect, virtually. I love when we get to go to Margin Coffee and
Oh, yeah.
just hang out there, I wanna thank them for being a sponsor. I don't know how many meetings and connections I've made in their space, such a valuable tool. Uh,
Yeah.
you mentioned Atomic Habits, James Clear's book, and, he's got some great nuggets in there. The one that I take out of there is we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems,
Our systems, yeah.
right? And this is really where, and this is the businesses that I work with. It's, we talk about solving the problems and finding novel solutions. And this is what you have to do. You have to think outside of these artificial constraints. I don't say outside of the box because uh, that's an artificial constraint in itself, that saying. But there are artificial constraints that we put on ourselves and on our businesses, and do not allow those to to uh, to constrain you, to limit you from what you can do. But you mentioned habits. Habits routines, and rituals. And these are three things that you need to have in your life. Habits are the things that are triggered by something. So when this happens, this is what you do. And then routines are the things that you do the same time every day. So like Russ, when he wakes up, he lays there in bed and thanks God for his family, for all the blessings, and he thinks about that. That's a routine. Brushing your teeth at the end of the day or before after a meal or whatever. This is something that is a routine. You do it the same time in the same way every day. Rituals are things that mark a transition. So think about a wedding or a graduation. These are marking a transition. And when you're working, so if you come to the end of the day, there are some people who there are certain things that they do. So they close their calendar, they uh, turn off the light. There's something that they do that says, "I have now ended my day," or "This is what I do to begin my day." Those are those rituals that mark transition. And so for everybody's life and in your business, you need to have habits, routines, and rituals. But people can get a hold of me at dscottsmith.com. Everything's there for LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever way that you want to communicate. I am happy to work with you. The place that I work the best is with businesses that have 20 or fewer employees and need a fractional chief of staff. You can learn about that at dscottsmith.com.
Awesome, Scott. Well, I can't begin to recommend Scott enough for somebody you work with. With what I do, Scott not only coaches me, but he also works with me with his business, besides doing the live streaming together and just being friends, which is the number one thing. And so, what a blessing you've been. You and your wife, Christine, amazing people. And just want to thank you so much for being on today, because we do the other show together every week, but you're not often. Are you just my guest? So thank you for being my guest today.
My honor and privilege.
All right. Well, hang tight. You know how the routine. I'm going to send you to the green room. I'll see you in a minute.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Okay. What an amazing, amazing individual. Mr. D. Scott Smith is somebody you have got to connect with. I'm telling you. And you can connect with him there on his website. You can connect with him on the platform we're on right now, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Also, I wanted to tell you, for the experience, you can join our YouTube community for that, which is a separate YouTube page. Go to the experience.video and join us there. And we would love to have you. That has all the episodes of the experience with the amazing guests we've had on there, including the time when Scott had to operate from his dome light with no power, which was our first episode. So I just want to thank everybody for being here today. You guys are all a blessing. It's been an amazing, amazing show as always. Don't forget, the best way to connect with me is russhedge.com. Russhedge.com. You can get all of my information there, and I would love to connect with you. And until we see you again, have a great day and a great life, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an amazing day.